And I think that really leads us to the next point is, so we have an onboarding process, and then, what do we do with that, right? Like how do we analyze that it's working well? How do we react when we feel like things are going off the rails? And so I'd love to hear your ideas on the second point, the second takeaway around analyzing the usage of your product. So love to hear your thoughts here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Chandler. And I think that's a key point also. Unfortunately, what we notice when we're doing health check and roadmaps, customer missed that one. Many of the SaaS organization not focus as much on it. Yeah, we have the data, but we don't look at it. That data, the usage of your product, your solution is the key if the customer is sticking or not sticking. Because if you don't monitor it and the customer is not using your product, they're more likely to shrunk. They're going to leave. So the goal with analyzing usage is to see and figure out opportunities for helping the customer with adoption, because you want them to adopt your product. And you have all the tools to figure out what features are you using, how long are they logged in, and how often they're logged in. Are they using our heavy use feature? Are they using all the potential of our product? So that's where customer success monitoring comes in picture, and it's very important. You're going to figure out the customer adoption of the product, and it's important to do it early on to figure out opportunity for training, one-on-one training sessions. Here's a video clip for how to use this feature. I noticed you're trying to access this feature, you haven't, and if they're not logging in as often, it's a good conversation. Customer success should call. Anything I can help with a training, with do you need? So this is where a very important tool that's available to customer success and the organization that's trying to grow the customer lifetime value is analyzing the solution, the product usage and adoption.
Yeah.
Hands off, because if the customer is not using it, what we said, they are getting towards the shrunk, which is what we're trying to avoid in the SaaS organization. For that put some lights on it, Chandler.
Absolutely. And that really speaks to the importance of I think the partnership between customer success and product most often. And I'm sure product or solution, whatever the team is called at any given organization, right? But that's really where you identify what is the value add, or where is the value you expect them to receive, and the usage. And how that reflects in the usage of the tool, right? And I think that everyone might have a specific idea on, what that onboarding looks like, and how to really monitor that. So, as a team, as a CS team, then what I hear you saying, I guess, is that it's important to really think through what does it mean to evaluate value, and how do we determine that we're having a successful onboarding and adoption process, right? And then to relentlessly monitor and track, and then
absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
Spot on.
That's great.
That's where the saying said, relentlessly monitor, and what's going on. This is where from a customer success operation, where you would come up with health scores. What is important to your business, to your solution to monitor? What is how does it look like for a good customer? So you would have a good reference. A good customer usage looks like this. They log in daily. They have all their license utilized, or 90% utilized. They are using 80 or 90% of our features. So you have some reference point. So when you look at something and it's drifting in the negative direction, you can take corrective action immediately, because you don't want to wait too long and the customer gives up on you and they're not calling you and they're finding another competitor that's going to give them that hands-on experience. Sure. That's why you want to continuously monitor this usage. And the best way to summarize this is figure out what are your top metrics you want to monitor in the product usage. What is a healthy customer looks like? What is unhealthy customer looks like, so that you can prompt, you have a playbook, you have a prompt for your customer success to take action.
Yeah. And that makes me realize too, I think my last comment, I was still framing the conversation a bit in the onboarding, but you made a point earlier on that customer lifetime value is something we need to mature over the entire life cycle, right? There's no time in which we can really stop and take our foot off the gas pedal on ensuring that that customer's seeing the value, right?
Absolutely. Cannot do that anymore with SaaS business. That's not an option to grow or scale at all. That's
Right.
an option for losing customers.
Yeah, and I can imagine too, from a CSM perspective, these metrics could also really empower them to have conversations with the customer, key customer contact, right, about usage, and encourage them, because at the end of the day, they've most likely made an investment in your product. And if you see usage dropping, that's an opportunity for us to highlight training opportunities and get them engaged, right?
Absolutely. That's an engaged customer is less likely to shrunk, is more likely to be more involved and getting more value of the product. Don't want to repeat the obvious, which is the cost of keeping a current customer is much less than acquiring a new customer, as we all know. So that customer success team primary goal is to keep the customer happy, satisfied, getting value from the product. Why did they buy our product? Either to save money or make money. So we need to help them reach their goals. And as you mentioned, monitoring those indicators, it will help us to engage with the customer and make sure we are there for them to succeed in our product.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then I think you touched on this too. And I think it's important. And we see this, you know, in the context of, say, Salesforce, where you would want to make sure that those metrics are pulled back in so that they can trigger opportunities for different playbooks, right? Or different actions that your team can take, right? Which goes back to that. Wonderful. So, so we've talked about onboarding, the optimizing your onboarding flow. We've talked about relentlessly monitoring, measuring the usage.